Welcome, welcome. You're live.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. See if I can catch it.
All right, so we are streaming. I see it popped up in our group, Red Pill Revelation. Awesome.
All right, you know, we're trying to get quick with it. We're trying to get quick with it. We're working on it. Yo, we have a special guest too, and he's more advanced than we are, so we're gonna get some of his and spice it up for you.
Crank the wheel up.
That's right. But we're gonna do what we do first. So this is Alicia Minto checking in from South Carolina.
Peace, family. What's going on? It's Chris K from New Jersey.
And Tashin Poole coming in from South Carolina.
We are bringing you real money talk.
From real people.
On a real journey to real financial freedom.
We have been called to break down global economic concepts and ideas.
To help you grasp the realities of what's happening around you and how it impacts your livelihood.
So hear the Red Pill Revelation from our perspective as thinkers, as we navigate through this twilight zone and what we can do in the now to protect ourselves.
We are the Real Money Entourage.
We are the Real Money Entourage.
We are the Real Money Entourage.
Yo,
and we are, guys, welcome. We are the Real Money Entourage. I am excited for today's show. We have been chopping it up, building before we got on here for you. So we're super excited. As I mentioned, we have a special guest today. Before I introduce him and bring him out, do just want to ask you guys to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Red Pill Revelation. Share this stream and like our Facebook page. We really appreciate your support. And I hope we're bringing you value. So we came to you on Wednesday. We've had a red pill week personally for ourselves, but we just give you guys doses, right? And we're going to be dropping them, but we don't want to overdose you. So we just try to give it to you a little bit at a time. But today I'm excited. Again, we have our guest, but this week we did talk about what did we talk about on Wednesday? We just talked about this.
Wednesday was after the protest. After the protest, then what?
And this is perfect because are we prepared now? Right? So are we prepared? Our title today, Hope for the Best and Prepare for the Worst. What's happening now is so crazy. Got us all, 2020 came in and revealed some stuff, right? Has already revealed some stuff, and we're not even halfway through the year yet. So it's just getting crazier and crazier. But are we prepared for what's happening? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we have our guest, Khonsu, Hotep, Atum. I hope I said that correctly.
Oh.
I'm asking to start your video, sir, so we can bring you forward.
Of course. I'm here. You said the word great, sis. Y'all are right on time. Y'all are right on point. I know we're talking about sustainability today. And you know what I like to say about that is in order to have that, we have to become autonomous, separate from needing the system itself, needing those things that the system provides that it can hold as leverage over top of us. So we end up becoming enslaved. Of course, one of those is debt, but then energy, food, all of the essential ingredients, the things that make our lives continue in such the way that they do, are owned or at least taxed, by so we have to pay money out just to be able to survive. And it wasn't always that way. And so now what do we have to do? We have to trade our time for money. So we have to trade our time in for money. And then eventually the money is going to deflate. And we're going to show you in a few minutes with this amazing article that that this group has brought for y'all from Venezuela, where you'll see how much food can inflate and the price can actually go to. And this is because, we've been tricked, we've been duped. So part of one thing we want to get away from and being attached to is their system of debt, which is money. I know it sounds funny because we don't always associate money with debt. We think money is the opposite. We think we use money to pay off debt, but that's quite right. You see here, an onion now costs $500 in Venezuela. Now, I know you're like, well, that doesn't matter. Their money's worth less. Here's the trick. Their money wasn't always worth less. Do you know that a Venezuelan dollar used to be a US dollar in accordance to what it could buy there? Mm-hmm. So we see that with the way that this is going, And all you have to do is watch what happens in other economies to show the signs of what's going to happen in yours. And we're showing all of the same signs. And it deals with corporate greed, it deals with capitalism, and it deals with the big guy just not caring about the rest of the world. And so I think, sustainability, one thing we got to get away from is the fiat. And we could do that with some pure 24 karat gold. And I want to pass it on. I just wanted to get y'all started with some fire.
So, look, straight out the gate, he's dropping some jewels. He couldn't even help himself. Like I said, we were building prior to getting on here, but he dropped so many nuggets because really, are we really prepared? I want to, before we go to our next question or however we're going to do this, just do Alicia or Chris, do you guys have anything to add to what Khonsu was saying just now?
Put it together for me.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. I guess the first piece for me when you talk about preparation, and I mentioned this earlier when we were, kind of getting together, is you have to go back to even like your childhood, right? When you were in school and you had the fire drills and you had to recognize the signs, you had to know what steps you had to take next, you had to know what door to go out of, you had to know where you guys were going to gather. The whole point is you have to prepare, and it doesn't mean that something's going to happen. But in this case, the example we just saw of Venezuela, it has happened. Like we know that every fiat currency in history has failed. I mean, this is what we know. So in the times that we're in right now, just bring it on back to the basics, right? Prepare, get your fire drill in order. Like, get yourself, get your family, get your neighbors, your community ready and have a plan of action. Because if you care enough about them and yourself, preparation is not going to hurt. Preparation is going to give you a lot of ease. It's going to remove the pressure. It's going to remove the uncertainty. It's going to remove so much stress off of you because you are prepared. And we know that 2 out of 3 Americans are just not prepared for a recession, let alone an economic collapse. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
You want to add anything?
Hey man, it's just like it's essential, man. And this right here alone, if we wasn't prepared before, this should be all means to, get out here and practice being, preparation, and it's very important.
And just like with the riots and stuff that's happening, and I think I kind of mentioned this, the stores, that's where people shop and stuff right now. Just what's happening now, I feel like I'm not scared because I am mentally prepared, and that's another thing. Like, that is above all of the physical things that you need to prepare yourself. I definitely think the physical aspect is what's going to carry you through, even if you have the physical apparatuses to get you through. If we were to have an economic crash and the power was to go out or something like that, we have to be mentally prepared for that. Most people, I don't even think, have even thought about an economic crash, guys, to be honest, affecting them. Why do you think that we don't feel like if the economy crashes, or why do you think we feel like we can't be Venezuela? Because we saw Venezuela, but a lot of people feel like they're removed from that happening because we're the United States.
Well, that's right.
Anybody?
That's what you just said. I mean, it's a false sense of reality. At the end of the day, we're thinking, we're the best, we're number one, we're the greatest, we're untouchable, we have the power, and that's not the reality. It's just like we're the youngest country, I believe. One of the youngest countries. Like, we're young. We're we're still toddlers to some of these, other countries out here. So we don't know it all. We don't have all the answers, but we've been, really just indoctrinated into thinking that, the United States is the most powerful and it'll always protect its citizens. So that's the only reason why I could think somebody would not say, oh, that would never happen here. I mean, if you look at the riots, it looks like it's a whole other country. It doesn't even look like that's happening
right here
in Minneapolis. You know what I mean? It looks like a whole nother country. We are used to seeing those riots in other countries. This happened right here in our backyard.
Right.
This
Right.
time.
I was just gonna say
Right.
we were a great country for a while. We were the greatest country when we had all the gold. See, so that's one thing I know about gold. When we had all the gold, we were the wealthiest nation. That's what made us the wealthiest and most powerful nation.
Right.
But now, since Fort Knox is empty, my proof and point is that I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you my proof. The people who evaluate how much gold is there and get to see the gold, they're only allowed to see one pallet of gold. So the auditors for Fort Knox are only showed one pallet of gold. That's it. Now they're an auditor. Why are they not walking in? They should be counting the daggone bars, right? That's what an auditor does. I'm telling you the truth. They're only showing them one. And then of course there was a lot stolen from the trade centers before they dropped. You know, there was $7 trillion worth of gold in the trade center. They only recovered 200 million of it, and they found that in trucks, dump trucks going away from the trade center. It looked like the movie Die Hard. Die Hard, it looked like is where they got the idea from it. Because remember, Die Hard broke into the World Bank and had to, for real. They found 2 dump trucks and 4 cars. All of them were empty, so they must have fled under the tunnel, going away from the trade center, and they recovered 200 million. But the other rest of the 7 trillion in gold was gone. That's a big, that's a big part of why that happened. But that's a whole other story.
So do you think the gold that is shown on the usdebtclock.org, do you think that that is an accurate number of the amount of gold that the U.S. currently has?
No. I think we're saying that's what we say we have. I want to see proof. Well, let me see an auditor. Take an auditor and a nice camera crew. We have the technology. I think we should have that transparency. If that's what's making our country wealthy, show it. But the problem with that is if they can't, then it also shows how broke we actually are, and that we're just, as we're talking about, just a step in front of Venezuela.
How much we've been lying, how much we've been lied to. That's what's really
it's a whole, and that's like what y'all were talking about earlier, how we don't really expect these things to happen, of course, because those miseducation propaganda machines, they call public school, they call college, they call news agencies, and I'm not knocking other teachers, I love the teachers, but what I'm saying is that the information itself is coming to us, and it never prepares us for what's coming. If there's an asteroid going to hit the earth in an hour, we would know in the last 60 seconds. They'd be like, oh, by the way, start praying. They're not going to tell it. They don't tell us anything. We have to figure it out for ourselves. We have to take the red pill and look deeper into what's going on. We have to look through the lies, because the truth is out there. It's just how bad do you want it? Because it's there again, it's one of them things that you attract. So if you really want the truth, you'll get the truth. Just be careful, because can you handle it?
Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. You can't handle the truth. But then again, the truth may set you free. So it will. It's either one. Yeah. And so of course what we like to teach about, I'm sure that y'all, from what I've seen, is financial literacy. And financial literacy will set you free. And we're just like how to root this into gold, because remember, this country was wealthy. It was on top. There's no way we own how many trillions of dollars do we owe in the debt clock? How much?
Oh man, I don't know.
You can't owe all that money if you have all that gold. It's impossible. You see, you owe when you no longer have the commodity to back up your money. See, we don't, this is just some of my own theories. Now, I'm not taking this from anywhere, but these are some thoughts that I put together. I feel like we don't have anything. That's why we're in debt. You go in debt, right? Listen, when you don't have nothing to pay with, when you no longer have something to pay or to border with, that's when you go into debt. Right. If we're that far in debt, it's hard for them to convince me they have all that gold and we're that far in debt. Why not just pay off the debt? We're back, bang, we're up, and then let's create a new system where it doesn't perpetually put us into debt anymore. Real easy. Time. Let me be a politician. We'll get this done.
We on real time with this one.
Right. Look at that.
Yeah. 25 trillion, right?
And rising.
And rising. So interesting too, on this clock, they used to show how much the Federal Reserve gets. Right. And of course, because I don't know. I guess maybe there have been too many people just coming to the clock. Maybe they just removed it, but Federal Reserve is not on here anymore. Um, so yeah, that's very interesting. And Khonsu, actually, you reminded me when you said if we have the money, that reminded me of. And guys, if you have not had an opportunity, you want to check out those episodes that we did last week. Again, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find our episodes there. But we talked about the U.S. congressional record and the U.S. being in bankruptcy, right? And how the Federal Reserve note even came into existence. So what you said kind of put a puzzle piece together, because I mean, if the country is bankrupt, then that means we don't own anything anyway, us as citizens, because we are actually owned by the United Nations and the World Monetary, is that right? The World Monetary.
Well, you're right on point. We are owned because it's basically our labor. It's our time.
Right.
It's what we talk about all the time. They're selling other people our time, because with our time we can get a certain amount of production done. So we're like a tool, and we're nothing much more than them. I mean, it's a legitimate modern day slavery, and then especially when you look at the prisons,
It is.
you take it to the prisons and they just step it up completely, almost to where it was. From the humility, from the deplorable conditions to the low wage pay,
Right.
and that's what they do. If a business closed down or goes out the country, they'll start having them do it here. Eric Teray really did a phenomenal piece on talking about how the prisons just basically use labor, of people, free labor,
Right.
to get stuff done. And the states actually, are part of this, the
Right.
governor and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. And
Tax
so,
deductions, tax refunds just for housing us, everything.
and there again, it's
For
like
paper dollars.
the freedom comes with the understanding. And so what we're doing here for y'all, what we're doing even with each other, is we're starting to plant those seeds and create those jewels that'll open it up. Because what Harriet Tubman said, she could have freed thousands more. It may even have been hundreds more if only they knew, right? So we gotta at least help y'all to realize. And I guess we're speaking to the choir here. I'm sure everybody's elevated on here. That's the reason you're here. But maybe the people you'll share this with can even relate more to what I'm saying right now. So I
Yeah.
just want to pass it off. I'm just so
Yeah.
happy to be here. Y'all got a great energy. I love this show. I'm gonna definitely start tuning in more. Take the red pill more often. This is a brilliant
Yeah,
show, though. I
that,
love this
Thank
show.
you,
You
Brother
should, brother.
Khonsu.
As you should.
absolutely. You actually are one of the people that we recognize, and I think you've mentioned this on your show before, that not everybody receives the information from every person, right? They have to hear it from a different voice. So it's good for us to scream from the mountaintops, because ultimately we are all in this together. The war is against us all. But again, those are red pills that we're not trying to drop. We're just trying to let you know that we need to stack as much gold as we can, exchange those paper dollars for gold, and get prepared. If we didn't have lights, or you didn't have your cell phone, if your power went out for
Right.
multiple days, what would you do? How would you sustain?
That's
Those
right.
are questions that you need to ask yourself. We kind of even talked about the vaccine for those of us, because COVID is still here, because it's a full-fledged business, right? I said it. It's a full-fledged business. And because it's a business, that means that it's going to go on for a little while, because they need to produce some income. That's what business owners do. We are all on this platform of business owners, so we know that we are in business for profit. So now that I'm off that soapbox, we know that if the vaccine happens and you are reliant on the government, that's in any form or fashion. That's whether you have welfare, whether they're sending you an unemployment check, whether you are receiving disability or SSI. If they
Workforce.
ask workforce, it doesn't matter. If you are not in sole control of how your income is
That's
produced,
gonna be
how
the
are you
main
going
one.
to
The
how are
workforce.
you going to sustain?
Right.
And
Who don't want they
if
check? Who don't want they check?
right,
You gonna like, man, just hit me, bro. Just hit me with the thing. Put it
I
right there.
think one way too that people can prepare that's safe for them, that won't cause conflict or violence or anything, is to start to learn more legally about ways that you can reject forced vaccinations, because there are a lot of laws that can work in your favor, but they're only going to work in your favor if you know them.
If you know
You
'em.
know, so I think that it's important for us to look for like realistic ways out. You know, we can. I know a lot of us are thinking and feeling revolution right now, and I understand that feeling. Shoot, I've been feeling it for years. But the thing is, it's like right now, I think a physical revolution would only end in bloodshed and probably not favorable for the people who initiated it. So
Right.
then it has to be some kind of mental, spiritual, and like we talked about financial revolution. And for the first time ever, by the way, you can gain a tenth of a gram of gold. So you can pay like less than $8. I mean, now I have to say less than 8. I used to say like $6 and $5,
Right.
but
That's
it's going
crazy.
up so fast. You know, for
Right.
less than $8, though, you can get a tenth of a gram of gold. So that's all I buy. I don't buy any other precious metals, stones, nothing. I buy gold. I'm all gold. Now, don't get me wrong. If Carabar's came out with another precious metal, I'd probably grab it just because how much I love the company from them. But right
And
now,
Khonsu,
I'm keeping it all inside. I love gold.
I'm gonna turn it back over to you, but guys, Khonsu is cursing at you guys. We do not buy gold here. We actually just exchange paper dollars for gold.
Yeah, you're
You
right. You're
know,
right. You're right.
we have been programmed to feel like, but we don't. No, that's not what we do. We just
Thank you,
exchange paper
sis. Thank you.
dollars for gold,
Yes.
and
No
that's
loot,
it.
no loss here, man. No loss, fair exchange, man.
Fair exchange. Fair
A lot of
exchange.
people don't
Actually, it's
understand that.
Yeah.
value.
And
A better exchange.
you're absolutely right. And I think it's just part of that 40,000 hours of bad programming and conditioning that
Yeah.
I'm still breaking out of. Like
We
I do know better. I like the word acquire too. Acquire.
fire.
You know,
That's a
acquire
great word.
gold. And exchange is good as well because like this is to say you can't buy gold, not 24 karat gold, because 24 karat gold is real money. So that'd be like if you're going to Mexico and you'd be like, I want to buy some pesos. They'd be like, no, you don't buy pesos. We can exchange your dollar for some pesos
Exactly.
because you're changing it from one currency to another.
Right.
But what's different about this currency is it's more than currency. It's
Right.
real money.
Money.
You see, and so that's the difference. Like a lot of currencies are just that. They're currencies. They're a medium of exchange. They're a note. A lot of them now are called a debt note, right? So they're passing back and forth debt notes that are not really attached to anything at all. So this is like a legitimate, a legal way to get our money out of that system. And man, I could say it in a way that would be like it'd probably be less appropriate, not cursing or nothing, but I'm not even going to use the words, but I'm just telling you what you can do here is so amazing. And what I say is this, just start to grab a little bit every day, every week, every month, whatever. I buy gold for fun. And what I think that you'll love about this company, in particular, I'm talking about Wealth Builders Worldwide and then even Caribars, is that we celebrate each other's saving.
That's right.
And that's
Because
what's
we're
so much
closing the wealth
different. Like,
gap.
where else do they do that? You celebrate people saving. Remember, saving is the most boring thing in the world. You go over to, I go over to Chris' house. I be like, yo, what we doing tonight at the club, man? He be like, nothing, man. I'm saving money. I'm like, man, get out of here. Like, that's boring, right? Saving was
Yeah.
never fun, you know?
That's what
Now
society
it's
taught
like,
us.
yeah, now it's like, listen, I'm going to avoid the club tonight
Right.
because we're going to
Stack
own
this
our
up, man.
club in the future. You know, it's
Right.
like,
Right.
Delayed
yeah,
gratification.
so right,
Right.
delayed gratification, but also just knowing what to do with that stuff that we're delaying. You know, like what are we delaying for, and what are we doing with the currency? You know, and that discipline. Because, but I think it's so easy. It's never been so easy. I could tell you if
Right.
y'all don't know anything else, you have no idea what I'm talking about. All you gotta do is get in and start getting yourself
And
some
learn.
gold every month. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
And
it.
you'll learn when you plug in because you're gonna want to learn how to make money. You're gonna want to learn how to make free gold.
Right.
Me and Chris both know a lot about free gold.
Yeah.
Because I could see, you know, he's on my downline, so I could see when he gets blessed and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll tell me he made a ridiculous purchase, but he paid $0 for the gold. I'm like, dang, okay, Chris, you know, I know he's been getting his free gold. I've been getting my free gold. And then on top of that, you know, we actually get a commission. I have the card here. So let me just block out a little bit of information here, you know, and so we get paid on this. What's it? Really 10 times a month. So
10 times.
Chris was smart enough to set up his Focus the Game clothing. Is that
You
the
are
business,
right.
right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that he has. So he's getting paid 10 times a month. I get paid 10 times a month. I got inclusive game design. And what's crazy is once you start to think about it, you actually have two full Karatbars businesses. So it starts to become exciting. Like I'm at the point now where I'm trying to get my my business account to compete with my personal account. Like I got them going through it. And I mean it's crazy. Like imagine getting paid 10 times a month. Anybody on here? And this is for people, and you know they can attest. We're not lying to y'all now. We get paid 10 times a month, and you can go
prove
pull it
us
out the
wrong.
ATM if you want to. You
Right.
can go pull it right out of the ATM machine, or you can turn it into this. It's up to you, and they'll
More
deliver it
gold.
to you via FedEx. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, I'm about to go buy some more gold. For
Right.
real, I am. It's today
Exchange,
Friday. Oh, it's pay
not
yourself first.
Change.
it's
Oh
pay
my goodness.
yourself first
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah.
No, I'm not lying. Matter of fact, I'm gonna post a picture of my gram that I grabbed.
Do
I'm gonna attach it to this stream for everybody. Y'all will see the time and date. I'm getting off of
awesome.
here. I'm grabbing me a gram of gold. I might get some cash gold, so I'll post it all. I love it.
Awesome.
See, but
Listen,
that's the thing. We
also posted.
celebrate saving. Oh my goodness,
Right.
this is fun. Look, you see everybody smile. We're happy. Why they're happy for me. Normally you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go save my money. Okay, that sounds boring. What are you saving for? Saving for our future, saving for
That's right.
legacy.
Closing that wealth gap, man. That's what we doing.
That's it.
Yeah.
We on a
Closing the
race.
A
Right.
tenth of gram of gold at a
That's right.
time.
'Cause at
You
the
know, they
end of
say
the
Some of
day,
1 gram at a time, a tenth. You
right.
know,
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't stay where it is. Like
Right.
you're saving, but it's growing. Unlike the dollar that you try to save, it's declining. So
Every
you
time.
may think you've exchanged $7 for a tenth of gram, but in actuality, in a week, it may be $10. That tenth of a gram may be
Like that.
$100 in a week. We don't know, but we know it's growing.
Yeah.
History has shown us the growth of the price, not the value, but the price of gold. So we know that it has gone like this while our dollar has gone like this. It's
Right.
just history. It's numbers. It's not emotion. It's all numbers. It's all math.
All
Um,
That's
factual.
right.
I wanted to say
but
something too. People are scared of digital money, right? People are scared of digital money.
Yeah.
So check this out. I'm sorry. You made me think of something. If you're scared of digital money, gold is the only alternative. The
Should
only
be.
one. This is going to be the only real alternative. If you're scared about this new digital dollar and you don't want to have cryptocurrency, you believe in an old form of money, you got to get some gold. I'm so sorry for cutting you off, Sister
Better get
Lisa.
some rocks.
Man, it just
no,
Some
came
you're
in.
gold
fine.
rocks.
I had
You're
to get
fine.
to it. Thank you so much, sis. I'm
You're
sorry
fine.
about that.
But let's just pull it back to being prepared and we hope for the best, of course, but at the end of the day, it's all about self-sufficiency,
Mm-hmm.
all about being able to remove yourself from this system, right? Like your food supply. How long will you be able to feed your family if they cut the food supply? How long will you be able to, you know, really navigate yourself if there's no more fuel being pumped into your car, or if you don't have electricity? How long, what have you done to make sure that you are first, like Miss Tashin said, just mentally prepared for that one, and then two, start to put together your reserve of items. You can Google what to put together. We have a list right here that we've shown you, but it's all about self-sufficiency. So you definitely
Pull
want
it
to
back up.
always prepare for the worst, not just in your you get insurance for everything because you're preparing for the worst, right? Your house insurance, your car insurance, your cell phone insurance, just in case that falls in the toilet or something. But you prepare for those things, but you really don't prepare for a financial insurance. You don't prepare for these things that the signs of the times are showing us. Like we see the smoke, we see the fire,
And then
and we're
they
and we see
finished.
it, right, and we're not doing anything. We're blinding ourselves to the fact that things are happening, and they are happening like they haven't happened before. So this is, learn basic skills. Like, do you know how to sew some clothes? Do you know how to start a fire? Like basic skills, you know it's just time to really get
It
it
is.
together and stop being so reliant on technology, being reliant on somebody else to do something. It's just
Right.
time. we've become a very lazy society. That's the bottom line. Very lazy.
And I think that's intentional, right? I think we were just led, like Khonsu said, it's 40,000 hours of programming where we're not really thinking for ourselves. And for the few of us who are free thinkers, most of us don't know where to go, how to navigate. So we do hope that we are bringing you some sort of value before we leave off the platform. And I know we're not normally on this long, but I do definitely just want to hear from everybody that's on maybe what some of the steps that they are taking, because we definitely don't want to be the people that show you the problem and talk about the problem and what other people are doing. Part of our name is ACT, right? So we are the Real Money Entourage. We are real people, and we're going to talk about how we are navigating through the Twilight Zone and how we are protecting ourselves, and hopefully that's something that we're doing we can share with you to help you build your community and impact your community. So before we jump off, guys, just tell the folk maybe something that you're preparing to do and what we're doing to take steps. Myself personally, I am trying to get my mind right, because as we get these red pills, it's a lot. It's like truth trauma. I heard it like that. It's truth trauma. And Khonsu said it earlier. It's almost like everything that you have been taught, you might want to reconsider, like challenge your beliefs. Can reconsider what you've been taught, because you've been taught it. You haven't actually sought out the information yourself. So a couple things that I'm doing is that just studying so my mind can get together, and then just changing what I eat, because obviously everybody's not gonna move at the same pace. So you just do what's your truth, like whatever you feel like is gonna help you be prepared, because really that's all the basis. And me and my sister are like, we have our buckets for catching water. We're getting a garden together. Like it's really real. And we are behind the 8 ball. We're just now getting this information. People ahead of us that we're studying, they've been planning for this for mad years. So we just got to get with it. And Alicia, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you with anything you want to.
Yeah, I mean, just like you, just wrapping my mind around it, being connected with, such phenomenal people as the Real Money Entourage here, just being open-minded, because I know that you two have taken that red pill some time ago. I'm new to the red pill, right? But it makes sense, and it makes sense. So yes, being open to receive information is first key. That's key number one. And then planting gardens. So we have some vegetables, we have some fruits, like I got 2 avocado seeds that are like trying to sprout back here. We have some chickens, that we got some chickens, and and finally, we're getting gold. Like we're building a reserve of everything. And just, making sure you have an evacuation plan. So I mean, that's really the key, build up your own reserves of whatever you can, connect with a group of people who are on the same mindset as you are in regard to what next, so that when the what now comes, you've already got it together. You can come together collectively. You can come together collectively with your resources and start to rebuild, whatever needs to be rebuilt. So that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. And Chris, before we come to you, actually, Khonsu, if you'll go ahead, and then Chris will let you close us out like you always do. Khonsu, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Yeah, that sounds great. I would say we got to identify the threat. That's one big thing. And like you said, sis, we got to change our mindset to adapt to the threat and the circumstances. We got to dig our well. We got to make sure that we're prepared for whatever comes, because maybe it won't be bad. And that's what a lot of people argue. Well, everything might be good, but hey, well, guess what? You're going to be knocking on my door if everything's bad, though. You know what I mean? Because you're going to know that I'm the one who's prepared for this. So I think we should do everything that we can. And those fundamental skills you were talking about, growing your own food, just raising your own fish or whatever it is that you want to eat, capturing your own water. These are things like I talked about in the beginning of detaching us from having that need and being stuck within society, whereas though, because as long as we need the stuff that they provide, we're always kind of going to be caught in that system. Now, of course, in America, I do want to be realistic. Most places don't They don't like you living off the grid. The counties and the townships will start to fine you if you're not using their electricity and stuff like this. So it's very difficult to find places like that in the United States. But that brings me to the thing, get your passport. You don't have to always live in the United States. And like we talked about, our business goes on the road with us. So I don't see myself being in the United States more than the next 5 years. There's other places I'd rather be at. And if I could do all my business from there, I don't care if I needed some kind of link. I gotta set up a satellite, something, whatever. I'll hook it up, and I'll be in the, I'll be out there like behind me with what you say there. Hey, but the thing is, I think it's a great point. Just the basic skills, like you said, sewing, very important. Cooking, learning how to cook from scratch, learning how to make bread from the ingredients. These things are real important. We take for granted. And once you do that, you might want to stop buying the store bread anyway, because the store bread is garbage. When you have some real bread with some butter and honey on it, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And so I just think that these fundamental skills that we're talking about gathering are very, very important. And then too, some survival stuff, some camping out, some hunting, because like I said, you just don't know what's going to happen. I guess the big question is, do you make it so that you can hunker down where you're at if you're in trouble, or do you have a remote place that you escape to? Of course, once you have enough money or enough of this, you can have that place you escape to. I plan to have one just like all the other millionaires and billionaires. I'm not an exception. I want to have my go-to getaway spot. If things start looking ugly, if another COVID-19 wave, we're gonna go, to the underground for a little bit. There's plenty of people doing it. Trust me. I know it sounds crazy, but if you can Google and look it up. There's millionaire bunkers, all over the world, Sweden, all these places, billionaire bunkers. So I mean, there's different ways you prepare, but I tell you, the more money you have, the more gold you have, real money you have, it's going to put you in position to do some of those things, to have some of those decisions, to be able to get food when nobody else can buy food, because it's still going to be food available. And what's going to happen is, with gold, you won't be subject to what happened in Venezuela. Because with Venezuela, they still, food, you got to pay $500 for an onion, but you can also buy what would be the equivalent of $100,000 house here for an ounce of gold. You see how that works? Yeah. And an ounce of silver will feed a family of 6 for 6 months right now. You see how that works? So their dollar took a dive, but this is going to go up. This is going to hyperinflate. And if gold goes up to 10,000 an ounce, I'm selling a little bit because I know that's a hyperinflation, but I'm not selling all of it. I'm going to hold on to some. I don't care. I'm just going to sell a little bit because I know that's a hyperinflate. But
just shave a little off the top.
Just a little. For that.
In case I won't go ball out.
But that's it. Thank you all. Once again, this show is amazing. So Miss Alicia Minto, Miss Tashin Poole, I got it right. Okay. And my brother Chris K, man, this dude is on fire out here in Jersey with me. We're gonna link up soon once this thing blows over, And but thanks again. The Red Pill Revelation is fire, y'all. I love it. Great show.
Thank you so much for gracing us.
I think it's very important that we take acknowledgement of, being humble enough to know that we was wrong. What we was taught was wrong. Mm-hmm. Some people that got a pride issue, they don't want to face that. That's like the first important thing. Acknowledgement, man. Take accountability. We was taught wrong, but now it's time for us to, now that we know what we know, take the steps. But we know better about being prepared. We didn't pack lunches before. We know what time it is. So ain't no, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, preparation is key. Acquiring gold, exchanging your dollar. Y'all got that money stacked, but what that money doing for you? Is it making you money? If it's stacked in cash, it ain't making you money, man. And you putting yourself at a bigger risk every day of losing everything. So, with that being said, and I just think, preparation is key, and man, just being open to the information is very important. Knowing that you was wrong, knowing everything you was taught, you should be questioning right now. You know what I'm saying? That's real. That's right. With that being said, it was a good stream. Thanks for everybody for tuning in with us.
Yeah.
We'll be back Monday sometime for y'all with some more medication.
Another dose?
Khonsu, thank you so much for jumping on the show. We really do appreciate you gracing us. You have dropped so many nuggets this week. I mean, you have given us some red pills, and I thought I was a red pill, brother,
Yeah.
but I appreciate you giving me, you know, giving me some pieces to put together for sure. Guys, prepare. Chris, you can close us out with your thing.
Hey man, you know you can't do nothing for nobody else if you don't, you ain't doing it for yourself, man. So get yourself together so you can help your neighbor. Go check in on them.
That's right.
Call your family, man. It's real out here. Love is love, man. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. Peace.
Woo.
Oh.